Hey everybody, it is Friday, November 20th. I'm still Kevin Murcko, and this is still CoinMetro, and this is my weekly AMA. Hopefully I actually have sound this week. I think I was talking to myself for 3 minutes last week, which, I probably do throughout the day anyway, so 3 minutes isn't all so bad. But I'm pretty sure this week we're mic'd up. So anyway, as we normally do here, we have two nice pieces of news for everybody. One thing that's definitely asked about in here, at least on a weekly basis, where usually I just have to kick the can down the road, have some information on that particular query. I'm sure it's going to pop up, so I'm not going to spill the beans. I'll let it pop up before I say anything about it. And then we have another interesting tidbit of information on a regulatory front. So actually two tidbits of information. Sound is good. Right on. Thank you, Oliver. So I guess I'll start on those since we're waiting for people to roll in here anyway. Since we actually started on time this week, we must have freaked people out. Hey, Alex. Well, Oliver was officially first, but I guess he can't play the game because he's part of the game. So nice going, Alex. So yeah, one little thing on the regulatory front. So we actually had an inquiry from the FSA here in Estonia a week or two ago about some of the products we offer for some clarification, etc. We responded to that in time within a week as requested, and we got a letter back from them. I believe it was in the last 48 hours or so that said, all good. So we had some discussion in Telegram over the last couple of days about margin platform and CFDs, and if it was classified as a CFD, and leverage, and how leverage is limited by ESMA, and how the FSA in the UK is limiting leverage. And so I think that ties in quite nicely, saying that, well, products as we've structured them don't fall under the regulatory guidance, regulatory umbrella of our local regulator, nor do we feel that they would fall under the umbrella even of the UK regulator. That's actually a case 1999 City Credit Index. You can look it up online. That sets precedent for the way that our platform is structured versus, let's say, a CFD platform. So all good. And I guess I'll spill the beans on the other one since we got a few more people in here now. So debit cards. So finally, after weeks and weeks and weeks of back and forth, I was told by our provider, our supplier, our banking as a service provider in the UK, that they finally finished their own policies. They've changed them in accordance with what Visa was requesting to be able to offer cards to crypto entities like ourselves, and that these applications should be submitted within a week or two. That was towards the beginning of this week, sorry. So I guess toward the beginning of next week would be 1 week. I'll get an update on Tuesday, and hopefully that update is going to be what we've been waiting for, but some progress on that front, which is cool. Hey, everybody. Hey, Brian. Hey, Alex, Jack. Nice to see you. Numpty nuts. That probably means something absolutely outrageous, and now I'm going to get memed to death. But thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Yep. Debit cards. So yeah, a little bit of news on those, which is good. Another regulatory news front. So we were talking with and submitting documentation back and forth with the Dutch National Bank. And I don't have official confirmation on this yet, but it does seem that the license in the Netherlands does not apply to our current business until we start to directly solicit clients from the Netherlands. So while we probably will look to acquire that license, I think Q1, Q2 next year, there was some ambiguity on whether we needed it now. And after a few phone call conversations and a whole swath of documents back and forth between ourselves and the Dutch National Bank, we did get a phone call from them earlier this week, where I chatted with the person in charge and was basically told that it does look like we wouldn't actually be requiring the license at the current moment, which is a good thing because it allows us to focus on other things and then focus on that when we're ready to focus on it, which I do believe will be Q1, Q2 next year. The video. Hey, Jet Fuel. So I put that one up on the screen here. Oh, that's not the right one. There we go. So the video, we actually got the first, well, what the videographer called a rough version, but I would say it wasn't all that rough. It's actually quite funny, to be fair. I've normally, if I watch myself doing something that others may say is funny, I don't think it's funny. And I guess I've realized now that's just because my videos haven't been directed all that well. Because this video is actually quite funny, and it's actually quite fun to watch. So yeah, we should have, I think we will have a finalized version at some point within the next week to 10 days. And at that point, we will put it on YouTube. It'll be on the Bond page, and we'll also start cutting it up to use for ads. So you guys will get a peek. Once we have a more finalized rough, then I think we'll let the community have a look, and give us some fun feedback, which I think will be quite cool. Citibank BDC to 300K next year, good or damning? One thing I'll say about that is I've never seen in the entirety of my career or life before my career, anyone on a national platform, any analyst from any bank, ever give a pick that made any sense to follow. Now, there's always, things change, right? So I would say that obviously this guy seems to me like, I don't know, I'm trying to run the numbers in my own head, but if you take the average BTC growth in a percentage terms year on year, and probably some extrapolating info as well, that's probably how he gets to 300K. I don't think he's trying to do some crazy, I believe adoption will explode type of calculation. It's probably just based on historic returns, but you can't really do that with an asset like Bitcoin. You may have been able to do it for the first 10 years, but trust me, as adoption starts to really gain speed, it's going to be cost prohibitive for most people to get involved in any major way, and then the derivatives markets and all these other things. So I think it's good in the sense that Citibank is actually obviously well known. People are now seeing that Bitcoin might still be a good investment. It's not quote unquote too late. On the same token, it can be damning for people in the financial industry, which are like, yeah, a Citi analyst says 300K, I'm selling. So short term, I don't think it's necessarily good for price, but it's still good for adoption. I think it's still good for people to understand that if they're looking for an investment vehicle, still highly speculative, they're not too late, which is a good thing. So how do we get on the exchange plus A minus 2? So how do we get on the exchange a positive or negative to read finer Satoshi, meaning up, down? Sorry, Jack, I'm confused. So how do you wanna restate the question for me, and then I'll come back to it? Just post it again. I'm missing it. Here we go. Wait a minute. Meaning, can we have a plus minus button when we make a trade? So I can make an exact number of sats. Plus minus button. So instead of having to enter the digits, you can enter like 1 and then go do 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 do, and it'll like go from 100 million sats on downward, I guess. I guess it's possible. Maybe you can draw it up for me and email me it. Do like a hand drawing of what you really want to be seeing, and then I'll let you know. We do have scheduled probably for Q1 revamping of exchange and margin. Basically, just fiddling a bit with the design, adding a bit of more intuitive. Lots of features there. We beat almost any other platform on features, to be fair. Our exchange platform has more features than almost any other exchange platform. I would almost go as far to say any exchange platform that's out there, though we want to make it more intuitive for users to be able to find them. So this could be something that we add to that new update. So the thumbnail for the stream looks like Kevin is meditating. Well, maybe I was. Any news on the XCM token swap? Yeah, so it was supposed to be done this week. We have a little support from the Parsec boys to be able to get that done, but they got busy with a few other things, and then our guy got busy, and then they were going to be ready maybe today, but our guy's not ready today. So they've set a date for Tuesday at noon to start the process. So right now it looks like it's going to happen on Tuesday next week. I think this Binance suing Forbes thing is hilarious, but all it does is tell me or kind of verify for me, puts another checkbox in the I was right column, that one, that news story is absolutely true, and that two, they know it, And that 3, when you look, if you look at media in general, when a big company is accused of doing wrongdoing, the first thing they do is try to jump on the defensive and the offensive at the same time and say, oh, that's ridiculous, defamation, you guys, can't say these things about us. To be fair, if they absolutely knew it wasn't true, I don't think it affected their volumes too much. I haven't looked, to be fair. But what it tells me is that it's absolutely true. Now, whether Forbes went too far, I don't know. There probably was some speculation in the article. I didn't read the full article, to be fair. I kind of skimmed it. But I think it's probably a frivolous lawsuit. They're simply grasping at straws because I think slowly but surely that house of cards will tumble. And this is kind of, we're on the way. We've started that tumbling process. Well, hats off to you, my friend. And you get the Facebook gold medal then today, which is, highly lauded. Highly lauded in the industry. Facebook, first time on CoinMetro, first viewer on CoinMetro gold medal. Okay, I know we do have plus minus buttons that basically go to integers, so you can see like 6 decimal points or whatever it is. Let's say 4, whatever it goes to 3, goes to 2, goes to 1. So you can actually play around with the size of each point. So you like your pip size, basically, like you would in FX. So we do have that. But good point. Take a screenshot of Hoiby, circle it for me, send it over, and I'll see what we can do. Marketing. So marketing, we have some. We'll have some ads coming out next week on quite a large marketing platform. I think I mentioned this last week. Will be one of our single largest ad spends to date. We have some tests right now going on in the US. We've seen a bit of a KYC conversion issue with those clients, so we're refining those ads a bit. There's still constantly lots of tests going on in different markets for different things, testing for the bond in markets where we can do that, testing for just signups in a much larger list of markets where we can do that, and also specific regional testing like in the US. And we've been redoing the deposit and withdrawal flow, if anybody's not noticed it. But we had some bugs along the week because we released the version and we started to patch bugs throughout this week. And now we have a much more stable version. And early next week to mid next week, I think we'll have a stable version online. And I think that's going to help as well. As far as biz dev goes, still working to see what we can do with this Paxful thing. Still waiting in the wings on this other debit card provider or debit card seller, I should say, that's looking to move into Europe. So still in the middle of talks on that one as well. And the Paxful thing, this which has now turned in more to a widget, it's going to be a bit of a longer term project, but it'll also give us the ability to offer a B2B service. Not only we are refining legal KYC. Ignium is using it. There was an article about that at some point over the last couple of weeks with Ignium and this Fundwise setup where CoinMetro is doing all the KYC, legal and otherwise. So legal KYC is getting a refinement as well as standard KYC, and we're going to make them into marketable products where there can be specific domains for every company using it so they can customize. That is also a bit of a longer term project. We're talking 12 weeks or so. But we are going to be doing that, which means we'll have 2 B2B products. One will be a widget for fiat on and off ramps, and then the other will be this KYC solution, which is going to add a large amount of value to our already valuable product suite, and now focusing also on, I wouldn't say institutionals, but definitely B2B products rather than B2C. Not focusing on, but having a new focus within our main focus. Could you make AMA with Anatoly from Parsec? That would be awesome. Yeah, I'm down. I've done we did a Crypto 101 podcast. We also did another somewhat like an AMA with Give on Live at least once. So yeah, I'm down. I remember seeing that somebody posted that he likes Twitch or Zoom. Well, we can do it with Twitch or Zoom. I mean, to me, it's just staring at a camera and talking. So whether you want to put me on YouTube, Twitch, Zoom, I don't know, TikTok. I haven't done any TikTok videos yet because I feel I'm too old, too white, too bald. But hey, you know, I guess I could probably. I've actually seen old white bald guys on with videos on the platform. But anyway, so yeah, I'm down, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So if Anatoly sets a date and time, and I have it on my schedule, we'll do it. Details. So we have a very comprehensive staking plan for the future. What we want to do is bring out something, though, initially that's going to give some immediate benefits, and maybe not, but not as comprehensive. But the comprehensive staking will involve pairs, all paired against XCM, something almost like AMM that you see on Uniswap, for example, very similar. But we're working right now to devise a way to get an easy win, where it's, you know, just basic staking. Hold the XCM, hold the quant, hold the parsec, whatever. Get paid staking, interest or staking bonuses or whatever back in XCM. So we're working on that now. I expect to have some details for you guys before the end of the month. I'm not saying it'll be ready before the end of the month. The target is to have an easy win, a quick staking solution that's not as comprehensive by the end of the year. And then into the first quarter of next year, really knock out a comprehensive solution. Maybe into Q2. We'll have to see how it rolls. All right, cool. Thanks, Jack. What do I want for Christmas? Hair. No, I don't know. No, I actually don't want any hair, to be honest. It makes my life so much easier not having hair. In fact, when my little bit of hair grows a little bit too long, it already frustrates me because I feel I have to like touch it in the morning. When it's short, I don't do anything, which is just awesome. Roll out of bed, put on a t-shirt and a pair of pants, I'm out the door. And then through the small door. And then through another door, and then at my desk. What do I want for Christmas? I don't know, man. I guess world peace would be nice if anybody can make that happen. Getting rid of COVID, man. If somebody could give me a pill where I could wake up tomorrow and then I just don't ever hear the word COVID again, I'd be fucking ecstatic, I think. But it really on a practical level, I don't know. I'm used to not getting Christmas gifts, so I don't even think of Christmas. Christmas to me is just like a month of the year where I spend more money than I do any other month of the year. That's kind of what December is. Like, December. You know, I like giving gifts though. Giving's fun. So I have no idea, to be honest. I really have to think about that one. How about more clients at CoinMetro? How about all you affiliates out there really start to amp it up in December and really start to push us, you know, all over the place, making unique little ads, make some money for yourselves and get some more clients in the door. That would be the perfect Christmas present, to be fair. That's what I'll take. Scan through the last blog article, gives me cheery mom and pop store vibes. Is this what you're going for? And is the right approach when the goal is to become a huge player in a financial market? I think it is the right approach. And I'll tell you why. I don't know about you, and maybe this is me, because it very well could be. See, there's always a problem when it comes to marketing or even product creation or whatever. It's very hard. The first lesson you have to learn, which usually is never the first lesson you actually learn, is that your own opinion is meaningless, which is hard to do. It's hard to create something where your own opinion is meaningless. Try it. I guess if you're a parent out there and you've tried to do anything for your small children or even your large adult children, and then they're like, even though you thought it was great, it's kind of something like that. But multiply that by hundreds and hundreds of thousands or millions of and then you get you get how it feels. But when most people deal with financial giants, right, they never walk away with a mom and pop or a cheery feeling, usually. In fact, I'll tell you my own story. I've had bank accounts and accounts for companies at, I don't know, every major bank you could possibly think of. And at some point I had, HSBC had come out with this premier account, right? I had residence in one country, passport from another, property in another, and I had this HSB Premier account, which was supposed to give me kind of direct rep access in all the different countries. I can move money instantaneously. It sounded like a great service. But it's like service from banks are always so bad that if you call up and you only have to wait 15 minutes and you only have to explain your problem to 3 different people and you hang up and you're like, wow, they actually solved the issue. That was pretty good. That's about the height of, how that warm, fuzzy feeling is with banks. But on the other hand, when you deal with small stores and when you deal with or businesses that really, even like something like Rackspace with servers where they talk about fanatical customer support, and you talk to one person and they get stuff done and it's a first name basis and it's just a whole nother experience. I think if finance was like that, many more people would be praising banks, been praising, even if they did the exact same thing they do on the back end, the fractional reserve banking and charging fees for everything. But if the experience was nicer, people wouldn't complain so much. So I think you can be a huge player and still provide kind of that warm and fuzzy feeling. In fact, if you can provide that warm and fuzzy feeling, you're going to get more clients and eventually eat up other people's market share. Even think of something like, even large companies that maybe you wouldn't necessarily tie this value to. Comparatively speaking, Microsoft and Apple. If you remember, and I know I bring this comparison up a lot, but it's a great comparison to make because you have Microsoft, which is a very corporate strategy, right? Apple was like, you go to the Genius Bar, you talk to some dude with glasses and he's like, bro, I got your back. And you're like, awesome. You might've waited in line. You literally had a tent outside of Apple for 3 days. You had to drink your own urine to get in there to talk to this guy. But I guarantee as soon as you talked to him and you walked out, you had a warm and fuzzy feeling. And that's why you came back the next time to drink your own urine for 4 days in a tent to buy the next iPhone, because you get that warm and fuzzy feeling. And obviously Apple's a huge company. So I think they can both work pretty well hand in hand. Please don't nobody pitch a tent outside of CoinMetro and drink your own urine. That would be not where we're trying to go. Favorite vegan foods and recipes. Well, Maris actually here in the office made a great vegan cake the other day, yesterday for International Men's Day. I didn't know it existed. I thought every day was International Men's Day. At least that's how I feel when I wake up in the morning. But yeah, it was International Men's Day, and we had International Men Cake, and it was vegan and gluten-free. I don't know. I love those Beyond Burgers and the not really a recipe, but when I really, sometimes no matter how healthy you eat, you get like to the point where you want to eat something kind of nasty, or at least that feels like you're eating something nasty. You get that idea like, yeah, I'm going off the fucking rails on this one, man. I'm going to eat, I don't know, this greasy burger. Those things are fantastic. So every once in a while, I like to indulge in one of those. For me, though, most of the food I eat is just, well, now I'm on this Huel thing, right? Huel, I should bring it in here. I'll get a bunch of referrals. Huel, a complete nutritionist food in a can. Or I don't know what their slogan is. Anyway, but normally when I eat food, it's vegetables and some type of staple, whether that's quinoa, lentils, whatever. It's pretty simple. I think it tastes great, but that's because I've been eating it for 8 years. So I'll give you a nice quick one, though, for desserts. If you're not a vegan and you think all vegan stuff is gross and you don't want to eat it, next time you want to have something chocolatey, take yourself an avocado, throw it in a blender, put any type of sweetener in there. Could be syrup, could be even maple syrup. You get a little maple taste in there if you like that. Could even be sugar, but make sure powdered sugar would probably be better. Anyway, some type of sweetener and cocoa powder in equal parts, sorry, 2 to 1 sugar to cocoa powder, and your avocado put in a blender, chocolate mousse, fucking fantastic. These should ramp up with volume and make you sustainable. Yep, new listings are coming. We kind of stopped new listings for a bit because we had a bunch of other things to do. Oliver's now on the new listing hunt. Considering that our new banking partners don't ask us to don't ask us to submit new listings to them before we can actually get them on board. It's a much easier process now. So yes, new listings are coming, but new listings also mean liquidity fees. And what we've seen in the past, a lot of times we do listings people ask for, nothing happens. So we're looking in the new iteration of the markets page to add in all the listings that people have asked for, have people vote. As soon as the vote gets to a certain amount, it gets listed. What's the future of PRQ Boost on CM as a centralized exchange? I would ask what's the future of PRQ Boost in general, but I don't, this idea of AMMs can exist on centralized exchanges. In fact, right now we pay you, if you're on a certain rebate tier, we pay you to put limit orders into the exchange. No difference from being an AMM, to be fair. It's a little bit more, you have to do something, but there's an easy way to get around that. And we're talking about that with our comprehensive staking model. where your liquidity that you add is simply added at a certain percentage above top of book and below top of book. So you sit off of that mid-range price, you sit maybe 0.5%, 1%, whatever, and all that liquidity gets padded in there. And when it gets used, you get bonuses, like PRQ Boost, for example. So I don't see any difference, to be fair, absolutely none. And it's something that we're working on. Elbow cough. Right on. Hey, Kev, if I move to a country that doesn't tax crypto, do I have to update my KYC with CoinMetro for tax purposes? Well, we don't automatically submit your data to any tax authority. So in that sense, for that particular reason, not necessarily. But if you do move to a country, you should update all your financial accounts. So you should let us know and shoot us a proof of address. Let us know you changed your where you're living. Simple as that. But it's not going to change us. We don't automatically share information with any tax authority. With one particular caveat there, I guess, with the bond, with interest paid on the bond, if you're an Estonian resident, then there is a bit of information sharing. Actually, it's because we have to withhold some of the interest, but that's simply because we're based in Estonia and it's interest on a bond. So yeah, with 27 people watching, we should have 54 thumbs available. Yes, every person should have 2 thumbs. There may be a few people out there with less than 1 thumb, but I would doubt that there's, let's see how many, hold on, give me a second here. I can't really see how many thumbs we have, but there's probably most people don't have 1/3 of a thumb. Hopefully, I don't know, unless there was some major thumb attack that I wasn't aware of in the news, which is possible, I guess. If Tether printing is found to be fraudulent, what happens to the exchanges that listed have trading pairs? Well, I'm not sure they would be held liable in any sense, unless I don't really see how, I don't see any real legal ramifications per se. However, of course, if they continue to do it after Tether was deemed fraudulent and they were told to delist it, that would be another thing. I would say that what it could do, because I think the writing is on the wall for Tether, and exchanges know it. At least exchanges that understand anything about the law or regulation or what have you. So what it may do is put a spotlight on those guys so that the regulators look a bit deeper to if they were doing this, if they were offering this, what else were they offering that we may not like? So it might not be a good thing overall, but I don't think it necessarily means anything specific. Had to throw this one up there. Jack is too brown and too old and too bald. So we're both off it. So I guess actually the qualifier for not getting on TikTok is just too old, too bald. Race be damned. Which is good. It's good that they don't signal out, just white, old, bald guys. Feel a little bit better about myself. So I appreciate that, Jack. Shark9, when till a new tram manager on board? What happened to the God Trader you said you were going to? Well, the God Trader, I don't know if God Trader, has an account, opened 1 position on Bitcoin and ETH, which is definitely now in profit, that's for sure. But this trader asked us to list a bunch of assets we simply couldn't list, or assets where we couldn't get liquidity. Mainly, very low liquid assets on Uniswap. So yeah, that's why that necessarily didn't work out. New tram manager comes on board. As soon as somebody comes on board, opens a private tram, does well, or has their own account, does well, and says, hey, I want to be a tram manager. So if you know somebody that trades well, if you know somebody that would like to do the same thing they're doing now, but just make more money doing it, then reach out to them, let them know about tram. All right. So do I. Kevin, is there a possibility when you're changing account for Euro deposits to announce it's all? Kevin, is there a possibility when you're changing account for Euro deposits? So yeah, when we make changes. That's true. We should have done that, actually. I don't know why we didn't do that, to be fair. Take a mea culpa on that one. Yeah, I guess there was a short time where we kind of went from our one provider, we had a stopgap provider, and then we went to another provider, and then that provider changed IBANs. So yeah, I think we should, and I'll definitely make sure that happens in the future. Yeah. I've flown through Turkey a few times. It's funny, like all the guys have hats on, and then they go through, then you know they're coming from Turkey, right? Because they all have hats on, and then they get to the security checkpoint, and they're all like, and then it looks like a really inexpensive, shitty plastic doll on their head, a bunch of holes. But yeah, I wouldn't do that. Rather be bald, I think. When will more tokens on the platform? What new tokens can we expect in the future? Tokens are coming. If you have something you want to see, start barking in our Telegram group. Let people know you want to see something, and we'll take it under advisement. As far as the exact list, I'll let Oliver be the one to push that out into the Telegram group, so you can tag Oliver about that. He does have a list he's working on, though. Yeah. I've been, this is not natural. This is just me really not good with an electric shaver. For some reason, in the front I'm all right, and then just kind of this happens or something. I don't know what happens back there. I do like the green screen, though, because it kind of, at certain angles, like if I were to stay right like this, almost look like I have hair, almost. Is it possible... If a possible bull run happens in the near future, will you target normies with the regulated exchange slogan? What would be your angle of attack? I know how everybody always comes back to bull runs. Like somehow the bull run is what's gonna, is what we need to focus on. Now, I guess the thing that you don't see in other markets, because they're much more mature and everybody already knows about them. For example, if there's a stock bull market, if stock brokers don't run out and go, it's a bull market, come on, because everybody who's going to invest in stocks probably already has. They're not going to see a vast amount of new people in the stock market, at least during most quote unquote bull runs. With crypto, we see this flow where, because most people don't know what's going on, and when they do read up on it, it's for criminals. Yeah, it's a scam, it's whatever. So they're like, and then they see something that says, oh, Bitcoin's up, 500%. And they're like, oh, well, if it's a scam, but 500%'s good. So I don't think we necessarily need to be targeting around bull runs, because the real way that we kind of make a difference is to tell people that they shouldn't be afraid of crypto, that even if they don't know how crypto works, they can still take part in crypto, that crypto is now becoming traditional finance, means securities and bonds and equities and tradable assets and assets that hold value and assets that they can use to send money and remittance, and all these things kind of combined into one. I think it's more about presenting kind of this, we're more than a crypto exchange. We're going way beyond that. This is not just about your neighbor buying Bitcoin and day trading it. In fact, that's probably less than 0.5% of what it's about. Because at the end of the day, it's not really about trading. It's about wealth generation, preserving wealth. And it's about allowing access to markets that nobody ever had access to before, and all those great things. So I think regulated is going to be a keyword in the future for sure, because there will come a time, and it happened in FX, everything was unregulated, then it got regulated, nobody really cared. Then people started to ask specifically, where are you regulated, how you're regulated, because they became aware of the fact that regulation probably meant that the institution was more reputable. And I think that's happening in crypto. It's happening to a certain extent now, and it's going to happen more in the future. So it's definitely something that we would use for sure. I think it's important. Not a problem, Jack. We'll get around to it. And lots to talk about on tokenization. Tokenization of anything, really. Real estate or whatever. It's really just about the benefits that it'll give to you as an issuer, as a developer, rather than having to go down another route, which perhaps makes it less attractive to your investors. Let's say no secondary market, no ability to get out of an investment, no ability to fractionalize, no ability to invest small amounts versus large amounts, all that good stuff. Do you think the stock market is going to crash very high value? Yes. Can I make my own Facebook and marketing my CM affiliate link, or does that violate a CM copyright? You can make your own Facebook and market your CM affiliate link, sure. Now, it wouldn't necessarily violate our copyright or trademark, If you were doing something that put us in danger, like saying, I don't know, guaranteed, 1,000% return if you invest in CoinMetro, then we're going to get in touch with you. That's for sure. Facebook, on the other hand, obviously has their own policies, so that's a whole nother thing. You have to understand what type of ads Facebook allows. If you're just doing a Facebook page, then you can get away with more than you can with an ad, but you do have to follow their policies as well when it comes to crypto, advertising crypto, etc. Is everything solved now from the hack? New contract for XCM new contract with XCM is coming. We have a scheduled Tuesday at noon to start the process. It should end the same day. We'll update everybody on that on Monday to see, and on Tuesday as well, obviously. So yeah, mostly yes. There's still a few things that need to be done in that respect, as far as patching everything, making sure that that's particular hack, again, I don't really like to call it hack, but anyway, that particular incident won't repeat itself. Yes, in terms of making sure that all reserves are back up where they were. We still have a bit of buying going on with some of those assets. But generally speaking, I would say yes. Kevin, my affiliates are very happy with CoinMetro KYC process, trading majors and bonds. To be fair, a lot of people who is starting to use CoinMetro are surprised CM is not more popular. Yeah, I'm always really happy to hear these type of comments, because most people only reach out to tell you that something they didn't like or doesn't work. And I know I've said this a million times, but I'll say it again. I've submitted so many applications in my life, and I've never had they all suck, man, for different reasons. And going through the KYC process with Ignium and then refining it based on what their clients said, it really, you get to the point where maybe you almost question your own product. Almost, I say, because it's an almost. I was actually talking to our CTO about this today, and he said I wasn't defending the product. And I think I defend it all the time. In fact, I defend it until my green screen is blue, which it actually is today. You just can't see it. So yeah, I think for the vast majority of the if we were to release, if some way 8 billion people could view CoinMetro, what we do in the processes with a snap of somebody's fingers, I believe that the vast majority would be impressed. Maybe there'd be a percentage that weren't, but they would be kind of overrun by everyone else. So I appreciate that, Brian. Thank you very much. It's got to be as well, because you're so passionate about shilling us to everybody, which definitely helps. So definitely appreciate that 100%. Trading volume has been increasing overall, which is great to see, but volume on USD pairs is still almost non-existent. When do you think? Well, focusing on USD, so we've been testing in the US, and we found that actually US participants are not meeting the same conversion threshold from sign up to KYC to deposit that everyone else is. So we're trying to figure out why that is. We were working on deposit and withdrawal flow, which will definitely help out. Also, the fact that you have to be a secondary, once you're approved for a CoinMetro account, you have to be approved to make USD deposits. And that's something we can't get around with the current provider, but it also means that we're trying to refine as much as we can. So once we flick the switch and flick it, then we're going to get much more USD exposure. I can guarantee you that. But right now, it's just about, we want to make sure that the process for USD clients in the US looking to deposit USD is the same as clients in Europe trying to deposit euro. And because there's additional steps, we have to refine them a bit. Would be nice to get the phone app sorted. It's really bad. Yeah. Look, Alex, I will defend every product that we have till I'm blue in the face. But I can't really defend the current app. And I always tell people to use the mobile browser because I think it's just 1,000% better. We do have a new version of the app that we want to get out. Well, it's a hybrid version between what will be a full redo of the app, but we want to get something out so that we can defend it basically. And that's coming. It's scheduled hopefully before the end of this month that it'll be released. So we agree with you wholeheartedly, and it's coming. With regards to the Dutch National Bank, does not getting a formal license also mean you can advertise in the Netherlands? So far, only 3 companies have been approved, meaning many others will leave. It means we can't do direct solicitation in Dutch. But we can do solicitation, in Europe, and we will get clients from the Netherlands. Right now, when we look at the amount of Netherlands clients we have, it just doesn't make any sense to spend the money to complete the process right now without having the money to be able to really push it in the Netherlands. We expect to be able to do that Q1, Q2 next year. That's why we'll focus on it. And trust me, it's a pretty standard regulatory process, but for crypto companies, it's difficult. And I don't mean it's difficult for us. It's the standard regulatory process. We've been through a few of those. I've been through a few of those. But for crypto companies that are used to basically saying, we're a crypto company, bro, and then get a license because they're not an axe murderer, it is a substantially different process. I do not expect many more companies to have it, even by Q1 or Q2. And it's still on. So it just means right now that it doesn't make sense for us, financially speaking, because the cost to get, maintain, and the amount of income we will see before we can push money specifically in the Netherlands won't cover it even close. But to be fair, a lot of what you've probably heard about this Netherlands license, that it costs $1 billion or so, I forget who it was that said this, is absolutely incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. 5K to submit, and which wouldn't be a barrier for us. But you do need to have people that are specifically working around the specific AML and sanctions laws. It means you probably need additional hires that can definitely focus on those things, so that you're filing those reports in Dutch, etc. But outside of that, it's not major, but it's something that right now just doesn't make sense when we look at our numbers. And it will be an opportunity in Q1 or Q2 as well. I'm not educated on staking, honestly. Where does the money come from to pay out staking fees? So staking in general, look, think of staking as an interest-bearing account at your bank. Where does your bank get that money normally? Well, they loan your money out. They loan a multiplier of your money out. They use your money to basically hold to the central bank. Central bank gives them a multiplier of 100 to 1. They loan out a ton of money. They make big interest payments on that money. Some defaults, but most don't. And then they pay you a pittance. That's how banks work. Now, in staking, it can come from a variety of different ways. You can have protocols that have staking on chain, which basically they have a reserve, and they give you some of that reserve when you do a service for them. That could just be because you're on a POS system, and you're just staking, and that allows them to. That allows you governance controls. It gives them more nodes, etc. Whatever. That's one way. The other way is just like an interest-bearing account. Now, why do banks give interest? Well, they want more deposits. Why would a cryptocurrency exchange give what's equivalent to interest? Because we want more deposits. The more deposits we have, the more AUM we have under us, the better we look to the outside. Plus, at some point, we provide lending. This lending capability with our margin platform, that gives substantially more volume that potentially could be used for that service. So it helps us get deposits. More deposits mean more people on the exchange. More people on the exchange mean more people using the exchange. More people using the exchange means more revenue. For us, at least in the beginning, for the simple staking, we're simply going to take it out of XCM reserves. When we get to the more complex staking, it involves AMMs, automatic market makers. It involves those market makers putting up capital, providing liquidity, and us basically getting a percentage of the fees from the takers and pushing those back into that staking pool. So, hi Kevin, Parsec has hold PRQ feature to use some service. I quite like the idea. Can we use it on the XCM side? One potential example: hold 1 XCM for 1 USD of open position on margin. We could, but with that, why would people want to? I mean, I get it from the tokenomics side, but if we complicate what you need to do to hold positions, would that really give us more clients? People that already use us and want to support the ecosystem might be happy about it, but would everybody else be? That would be my question. Plus, we already have very similar. I mean, the tiering system. Now you get better interest with the bond. You're going to get better staking rates when staking comes out. You're going to get so. There's already an intrinsic reason to hold XCM, even now. Everyone should tweet and share. Appreciate that. Thank you, Jack. What is your view on DEX? would you go forward, or you mean decentralized exchanges? I've said this before. Future is hybrid. Decentralized exchanges will have to do AML and KYC. They will have to. That will add in a governance layer, whether that's decentralized or not. That's going to be a major change for most DEXs. I think no DEX will be able to ever compete with the overall feature set and speed of a centralized order book. I believe the future are centralized order books and decentralized settlement, and I think that's where the world's going to head. Will CoinMetro be able to offer more complex crypto derivatives, options, futures? That would require additional licensing, and I know that there's lots of companies trying to do this, and I've talked about this a lot, the difference between the guys with the institutional hats and the guys with the retail hats. Institutional guys think that that's the only game in town. Retail guys know that without a solid retail market, institutional markets don't exist. So from options and futures, these are things that require a different type of client base. As we build up the client base, people ask for it, we will deliver it. Simple as that. But I think that there's other platforms that are going to provide those things and only focus on those things. And I don't have a problem with that. So yeah, it depends. It depends what our clients want. Simple as that. We have a platform that we've created that can do a lot, including these products. So we just need to know what our clients want as we grow that client base. In your opinion, other than token appreciation in the bond, what are the next best ways to make a return in crypto market? Staking, arbitrage, and low liquidity pairs? Well, I think crypto majors have proven that hodling is the way to make money currently in the crypto market. Simple as that. That and taking a small portion of your overall crypto portfolio or your portfolio in general could be anywhere from maybe on the low 5% up to the high and maybe 30%, depending on your risk appetite, and going into alts, because alts can make you substantially more money in a short period of time. You can also lose your money much quicker. And then keeping the vast majority in Bitcoin, Ethereum, because over time they show that holding is better than trading. Almost every metric you can look at up to now, especially for retail. If you know what you're doing, then that's a different story. I would say on top of that, if you can get staking at the same time, why not? Arbitrage, probably not for most people, and arbitrage is going to go away at some point. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. What it means is that at some point, if you're banking your entire future on arbitrage, you're going to get burned at some point in the future. With the expected growth of CoinMetro in 2021, do you see the team largely expanding? If so, what areas are you looking to make additions? Yeah, Dredd, 100%. Thanks for the question. So yes, it has to expand. Simple as that. So where would I see expansion? In lots of areas. Obviously, as we expand the client base, that means customer support and compliance and finance are expanding with that growth for sure. Definitely marketing will expand for sure. Also going a little bit of marketing and sales, especially when we move into B2B products as well. Sales is definitely going to be a part of that, which ties into marketing, but obviously sales is sales. And I think probably legal, as we move into different countries, different jurisdictions, different licensing, we'll probably have more on the legal side, and also compliance as well, for sure, as I already mentioned. So to be fair, almost every aspect of the business, except maybe C-level, which probably won't change all that much, unless we're required to have men on the ground, women on the ground in certain countries, then C-level could change. Obviously, we could have additional C-level positions. But basically all aspects. Look, as the business grows, everything will expand. But it's not that it goes concurrently one-to-one. It's not parallel, which means, to expand from now to 1 million clients means lots of expansion on staff. To go to 1 million to 5 million shouldn't mean that same expansion rate. Why? Well, or 20 million even. Why? Because simply we should be building out a suite of products, not only on the client side, but also on our side, which we have, our administrative portals, et cetera, that can handle lots of the burden. So we don't need to continually expand at that same exponential rate. But definitely most of the pieces of the business will expand. True. Appreciate that, Jack. Thank you. You're very welcome, Charlie. Thanks for the smart questions, because Yeah, staking, I think. Look, we're at 50 minutes, guys. We try to keep these things, well, we've been trying, to 30 minutes. We failed. But I appreciate all that. Some great questions this week. Here comes another one. Give me a second. If needed, wanted, I'm a CPA in the US with compliance, AML, OFAC, KYC experience, and would be interested in working part-time in exchange for more XCM. Awesome. Send me a direct message. Let me know what you want to do. Now, you might not be able to do that. But tell me what you want to do, and we'll see if there's something that fits, something that you need to want to do it, not just because you're getting remunerated. It has to be something you want to do for it to make sense. But absolutely, 100%. We love working with our community. We love paying an XCM, and so yeah. Please reach out. That would be awesome. Anybody else? You guys? Anybody out there has a skill that they think that we could benefit from? And I know a few people are waiting on responses from me for that specific question, and I will get back to you, I promise. But please reach out. We're always interested. We love working with the community. We think it's great, and we'd be happy to bring on some more community help. So anyway, guys, it is Friday, and we're coming to an end of the AMA. I got some other work to do. Not that it's more important than talking to you guys, but still got to get it done. Love being here on Fridays. Love talking to you guys. Great questions this week. Yeah, it's coming up on the weekend. You might be on lockdown, you might not. Maybe you're wearing 7 masks in your house with socks over your hands and, I don't know, a saucepan on your face or something. I don't know what you're doing, but whatever you're doing, whether you can spend time with friends and family, do it virtually, do it physically. If you do it physically, keep your distance or not. I don't know, whatever. And when you're there and you have your 7 masks on and someone says, I can't quite hear what you're saying, make sure you've already written on a piece of paper that you have in your pocket, buy some XCM. Make sure you rip that out and put it in their face so they get what you're trying to say to them. Have a great weekend. See you guys on Telegram. Again, you can always tag me on Telegram at Kevin Murcko if you have a question, a query, or you simply want to make fun of me because I'm bald. Or tweet me at Kevin Murcko, same thing. And I'll see you guys there. See you guys here next week. And maybe on next Wednesday for some news, finally. Maybe. I don't know. I probably have 900 news things to go over. I'd probably have to do a 10-hour broadcast, but we'll see what happens. Cheers, guys. Thanks for your time and appreciate it.